Hey everybody. Wow, so today should be an easy day, fingers crossed. All I have to do is implement the X position for spotlights targeting. So, yesterday I think I learned that I don't need to worry about um, anything um, in the controller because the in the controller, in the interface because it's already done. I don't know what I just did. Control. Oh, I'm using my keyboards, my laptop's keyboard. All right, so let's see. Target dot. All right, so here in the form group, when we create a new form, I need to add a Z position. I don't even know. Well, I guess it'll matter depending on where things are. Okay, I do not like this view. I want to be in this view here. So that was the view of Git showing the differences, and I wanted just to be in the regular view. All right, so I'm creating the form. This is where this component TypeScript is where the majority of the changes are. Let's see, Control F. Let's see. It's so weird. Okay, target dot X position. And really, Y position is going to be closer to where I need to be. All right. Man, I guess it's going to be one of those days, my friends. One of those days. Okay, so here is where I messed up yesterday, where I didn't put the right thing. And that is like sort of one of the major advantages to dry. Like if I wasn't repeating myself, if this was just like a variable or some sort of attribute that a yeah, like an attribute that I was passing into an array. If I was just like, hey, this is, or into a method, if I was just like, hey, then that all of it would just work, and I wouldn't have to worry about making a typo or forgetting something. Um, I think I've had so much bad luck on the animated side, and I think it's because there are some very subtle, um, slight inconsistencies on the ThreeJS side on the way that attributes are named. And I don't really blame them because, just like some attributes are more complex than others, but but it has made like like me trying to map to attribute positions has had more exceptions. Like almost everything is an exception. Um, so, all right, that looks good. That looks good. And that looks good. So it's really not bad at all. Okay, so then in the template itself, basically I need to add another row for the Z position. It needs to be inside of the case. Um, the if light is equal to spotlight. We only want to see the target position for spotlights. I think there is one other kind that you could target, but I'm not sure. But I'll worry about that when the time comes. Okay. Z and Z. I think that's it. Oh, no. Probably the most important thing is Z being that. And actually, I'll be very interested to see what changing this. I wouldn't think changing the Z position would have any effect on typically the most of the spotlights we've done so far. All right, so I think there's one change in the ThreeJS um, change. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, basically for spotlights, go ahead and set the Z to the target Z position. All right, so that's good. All right, so now I need to create a mesh. As I say, almost seems like every single video now I've been saying that you can't see lights unless there's something for the light to interact with. It's just a ThreeJS thing. It's probably a good thing. I can't think of a reason you'd be able to see a light if you were in a void, you know. Cancel. Okay, I don't know what's happening. That is interesting. I don't know what that was all about. I guess I was on something else. All right, so we've got our regular light. Let's see, we'll set this to 1. It's a spotlight, and now we're going to change it to it was a point light. We're going to change that to a spotlight. And then we're going to change the target. And I don't remember, I don't know if it ever got fixed, but I know in a bunch of the videos I've been watching, this thing changes the minute I change it. Z target is 1. You can't see anything. Let's see if we change it back to 0 so I can see it. What if I change it to negative? Let's see. We'll move it back to 1 and make it a negative 1 so I can see it. What if I make it negative 2? So I guess it ends. Well, it's weird, right? Because the mesh is sitting, I believe, at negative 1. So you would think that the light, if it was targeted at 0, shows up just fine. If I target at 1, that's because it doesn't, because it's at 1. The light itself is at 1. So what if I make it 2? Okay. So basically the light can't be sitting at where it's looking at. It has to be. So what if I made it 12 and 1.2? 1.7. 0.7. So 0.7, and that's because the light is behind where it's looking, right? If I remember correctly, it's looking at 1, so we'll make that 0. Make it 4. Can't see it. Make it negative 4. You can't see it. All right, so that's how that works. So now what if, okay, so what's the time? The time is 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another mesh. So I have a mesh at 1. Let's add a mesh at 0. Let's make it like negative 1. Okay. I think I'd like 1 better. Okay. So there's a spotlight, there's the shadows and all that. And let's convert that into you know what? I want to make it like, what if I make it 2? Okay. And now what if I make it a Fong? All right. So there's that. Now, okay, so that's interesting that it is that. So what if I make it a 1 and it's a Fong? What if I make it a 0 and it's a Fong? So I don't really know what we're looking at there. That is weird. Okay, so the spotlight, because it's closer, the spotlight is hitting it. So what if I make it a 1? So you can't see it at all. And now where's my light? My light is, at 0.7. Okay, so the light is actually inside of there. So if I make that a 1, if I make it a 2, Okay, so this is the shadow. This is the item. Okay, so now I want to move the mesh over one to the right. Okay, so we could see a little bit of the light, the spotlight kind of on the side of it, and then we see a big shadow. So just to make it make a little bit more sense just for a second, I'm going to change it to normal. Yeah, see, so you can only see this light there. Fong. Well, let's go back to normal. Okay, back to Fong. So we can see a little bit across the top of that. That's the edge of the wall and all that. All right, so now what I'm curious about is if I put, okay, so this is sitting at a Z position of 1. I don't know, it could be 0, right? That'll make the top, oh, so you can see the whole top if I make it 0. Okay, what if I put the camera at 0, 0, 0? I'm very curious what I'm going to see if I put the camera. So, oh well, let's put the camera at a Z of 1. Okay, I think that makes sense to me. So what if I make it at a Z of 0? I don't know if it's just moving really slow. Yeah, okay, so it's moving really slow. So we can just barely see the wall. So now what if I say it's looking at 5, which is where the light is? So I think we see the wall to the left of us because now the camera is looking back at there. So that is interesting. I'm curious if I put the X position, the Z position at -1. Okay, see, we're seeing the whole left side of it. Let's see, so the mesh, I guess the mesh is hovering above a little bit. Let's see, let's add a new mesh, move it to -1. So -1 is going to be to our right. -1, and then we'll convert it over into a Fong. All right, so we can kind of see the bottom of this. So basically the camera is sitting at -1, right? So what if I just put like a point light at 0, 0, 0? What if I lower its intensity? Didn't make any difference. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. City 1. My point light is the one I wanted to lower the intensity of. And then, say 0.3. What if I make it red? 0.1. And what if I move it out a little bit? Is interesting. Move the camera up just a tad. And it's amazing how long it takes for this to process now. So that's pretty cool. So -1. can't see. I don't think you at negative 1.9 you can see anything. Yeah, because you're behind. Let's see. Let's animate it. Oh, that's really cool. You could almost make a cool smiley face. All right, that's blowing my mind, guys, gals, ladies, gentlemen. But anyways, where are we at? We are at 15 minutes. That's not terrible. Done with the targeting position. It was a nightmare. And now the next thing I think I'm going to do is pull all of this light stuff into its own light service. And then I think the next thing after that will be to refactor the light interface. Basically, get rid of this form and sub and handle the form and subscriptions in the. This is exclusively for the light component, light manager component. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. That is so funny, the way that it looks just like almost like an angry face. Like if I put one, okay, I have to do it. Let's try this. So I want to make like a angry mouth face. Um, so when a mesh back there. So we're going to add our mesh, and we are going to move it to. We're going to move the Y to -1. Wrong one. I'll move the wrong Y. Move this Y to -1. Oh, that looks like a nose. Let's see. Let's make it -2. I guess what we want to do is we want to, let's pause it. Let's go ahead and pause it and look at it at the end, because that's where we can see what we want to look at. It's kind of weird how it's not slow there. And then, okay, so let's go back to meshes and make it a width of 3. Make it a height of 0.5. I guess the width is too much, so 2.5. And then make it into a Fong. And let's turn the animation back on. I think that's pretty cool. Kind of want to see the mouth. See, this is where it'd be nice to, if I had named all these things, the depth to be like 0.1. So, and then that's weird though. That I don't think that's point. Oh, the depth is what. Let's try making the height 0.3. So that's pretty cool. The eyes are a little low, definitely stuff. And see, it's kind of like, it'll be nice when I can save these things, so then I can start working from there. But yeah, I think I'm starting to see a lot of potential for like making like animated GIFs, things like that. But anyways, so now I turn this into a short video to a long video. But yeah, so happy coding, everyone. Bye.